Hello, everyone. Well, we bring a completely different therapy today, rapid transformational therapy. We're going to understand what is it and how can it help women who are 40 and above with their health concerns. So, I'm welcoming Sally. Sally is a hypnotherapist as well as a cognitive behavioral therapist. So she is going to lead us and educate us about this particular therapy. Welcome, and thank you for
Hello,
joining.
Anrita. Hello, how are you doing? Lovely to be here.
Well, I'm going to let the floor, just let you kind of start with what is rapid transformational therapy. That's number one. How can, and we're talking specifically for women's health, how can it help women, specifically 40 and beyond, when they're inching towards perimenopause and menopause and beyond? So let's just start with that, and then we can ask
Where
more
it goes.
questions.
So, RTT stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy. It's a brilliant therapy and it combines the best bits of psychotherapy, CBT, and NLP, and it does it under hypnosis. So, it takes the client on a really incredible journey, back to their past. Um, Sorry, I'm not feeling very well. I've just had a wave of nausea. Oh, do excuse me. Yeah, it takes the client. So it's a one-to-one process. It's very, very intense. And what normally happens is most of my clients who come to me are around age 40. They're in their perimenopause. They're experiencing a lot of change, a lot of inauthenticity in their lives. They're really struggling with low confidence, low mood, maybe relationship problems, maybe disordered eating, maybe anxiety. So we really get to the underlying cause, the root cause. What is the root cause? And because of the psychotherapy element, we're looking at their childhood. So we're looking at, what happened to them? What were the negative messages that they received in their childhood that made them believe certain beliefs about themselves, that made them, have this low confidence? And what you find at menopause and midlife is that the estrogen is declining, the progesterone is declining, the cortisol is rising. And so all of the negative messages that they've been holding onto for so many years comes to the surface. You've been holding it all together for all through your 20s and 30s, and then all of a sudden, bang. And this is what tends to that happen to me, and that happens to a lot of my clients when they finally come to me in my office, and they just having a really terrible time of it. Maybe HRT's not working. Often what happens is as well, people come with driving anxiety. They've never had driving anxiety in their life, and all of a sudden at menopause, this comes up. So this sort of treatment, this rapid transformational therapy, can really, really help somebody to understand why they are the way that they are. And then we just work with the subconscious mind, and we reprogram the subconscious mind, by using powerful language, using metaphor, using, very descriptive words, positive suggestion therapy. So it's a very, all I can say is it's a very powerful treatment. I go into hypnosis as well when I'm with my client, and it's just such a beautiful experience, when we're together and we're on this journey, helping them to make sense of why they are the way that they are. Yeah.
Okay, so you said that you use also cognitive behavioral therapy along with the hypnotherapy or psychotherapy, right? That's what you're calling, correct?
So
I'm
no,
just want to.
I do rapid transformational therapy, which is a combination of psychotherapy and CBT done under hypnosis. So this RTT method was developed by Marissa Peer, who is, she's a celebrity therapist. She's got her own school now, and I trained in her method. So that's what I do. It just sort of it reprograms the mind, which is often what we need to do things differently when we hit midlife. We've got a lot of stuff coming to a lot of the time we need to take care of ourselves, and we don't know how to do that because of old, outdated programming. Women particularly give so much to their children, to their careers, to their parents, and they have very little left for themselves. And so They're learning a new way of being, and that comes with some bumps in the road, you know.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's just talk through a typical session of this particular therapy, rapid transformational therapy. How long is a session, right? We want to understand that. And what does it entail? I mean, just give us some
Yeah.
more specifics, because people want to understand. They don't understand what rapid transformational therapy is. So we want to understand what it would entail and
Yeah.
what kind of ailments or health concerns that it can help with. That's also very important.
So it helps with things like anxiety, low confidence. It helps with disordered eating. It helps with insomnia. So these are all the things that come up at midlife. The session itself is between 2.5 to 3 hours long. So it's quite a long session. I pop the person into hypnosis, and then we go back and we go back, we do regression. So we go back to scenes and memories in that person's life, in that person's childhood, where they might have picked up a certain message about themselves that is causing them to maybe tighten, maybe hold on to a lot of control, maybe not be able to switch off their thinking, maybe striving for perfectionism, maybe disrupted their relationship to food, maybe to do with relationships, like why they can't have a successful relationship. So it really depends. All of these issues can be addressed. And during the regression, we get a huge amount of clarity as to why that person is the way that they are. We look at what messages did you receive, and how are you perpetuating that today? How are you carrying that on today? Then we take a pair of scissors and we literally cut it up the middle. So you get to understand, that's no wonder I am the way that I am, because all of this stuff happened to me. And there's a lot of self-forgiveness involved. You know, it's about coming back home to you, forgiving yourself for being the way that you are, forgiving yourself for the anxiety, forgiving yourself for the low mood, or the not being able to sleep, or the disordered eating, or the drinking too much alcohol, whatever it is, or the weight gain. There's a lot of forgiveness, and then there's a lot of, untethering, as I said, part of the session, part of the thing that we do is called That's Not Me. So under hypnosis, you recognize that's not me anymore. I'm not that helpless child anymore. When I was a child, I was helpless. And I had to create these coping mechanisms. I had to think about myself in a certain way to get on, to adapt, to make peace with the adults around me. But now I'm an adult. I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to bend over backwards. I don't need to change. I don't need to live inauthentically. I don't need to work myself to the bone. I don't need to stress eat. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. Part of it is understanding why, what is, say, for example, with disordered eating, what is that giving you? What's the role, function and purpose of this disordered eating, or the gambling, or the alcohol, or the insomnia? So anything that you have, even if it's something that you don't want, your mind thinks you need it. Your mind thinks you're asking for it on some level, on some subconscious level. It thinks that you're asking for it. So we look at why that's there, and then we negotiate with it and say, well, look, we don't actually need it anymore. You're not protecting me. You're not really preventing me from doing what I want to do. Like, I have the power now. So it's a very empowering process. Yeah.
Okay, so and then what do your clients say after they've had session? Like, how do they feel? Can you describe that feeling from your client's perspective? Do they need to do multiple sessions, or is it one session? How can it, what do they tell you?
Yeah. So many times people tell me that they feel lighter. They feel much lighter, and they notice changes happening very automatically. So that's the thing with the rewiring process, because my clients get a recording that they have to listen to for 30 days after the treatment, and that rewires the neural pathways. They love listening to the recording. It helps them feel relaxed. So they feel relaxed, they feel free, they feel changed, they feel different. Usually it's just one session, but people can tend to have more if they want to work on other issues as well. So yeah, that's how it works. It's very thorough. I do a thorough consultation first, a 45-minute consultation. Then I do the RTT session, which is around 2 to 3 hours. They have WhatsApp support. We do WhatsApp support for 30 days, and we have 2 follow-up Zoom calls as well. So we really make sure that the client's getting what they need. I'm a cheerleader. I'm a big sister. I'm a friend. I'm a therapist. I'm there to help my client work through what they need to work through. But generally speaking, they say that the change happens automatically without having to really get involved. That's the power of the subconscious mind. That's the power of repetition when you have something on repeat, like the recording. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a quick session that we bring on a daily basis to help people understand the power of integrative therapies. And today's session has been on rapid transformational therapy and how it can help women get over anxiety, depression, and so many other things. Anything else you'd like to add before I wrap up the session today?
I do have some hypnosis recordings available on my website for menopausal symptoms and for the general menopausal transition. They're very unique. There's nothing like it on the market. It's very specific for the menopause transition. I've got one for hot flushes, one for brain fog, one for low libido. So they're really good. People can go and get that more of a low cost option for people. Yeah.
Oh, we would absolutely love that. And I wanted to say that we are launching programs, a lot of programs in January, and these recordings, we can make it available for our members as well. So we would definitely like to do that. That is wonderful and amazing. And we will be in touch with you how we can make more of these resources available. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your help.
Bye-bye.
Bye.